What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Saturday evening. About to turn on the Peacock, watch me a little bit of wrestling. Reason why I wanted to make this video is some people wanted me to watch the whole argument between Vegan Gains and Norton. And I went ahead and checked it out because, it's been a while since I've seen a Layne Norton versus Vegan Gain spat there. And here's the thing, in terms of their argument, as far as plant protein is concerned, both of them pretty much got it wrong, and I'm going to explain why. You guys stay tuned, first off. Now, before I even get into that, I do have to call out a couple things here. Now, I've not spoken with Layne in about 5 years. We used to speak regularly for like 10 years here. And I've known him for over 20 years, ever since he posted on bodybuilding.com and said a couple things to where me and Bob Ciccarello was just roasting the living daylights out of him with his theories and everything like that. But he's a good kid there, and stuff like that. Richard, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was somewhat of in discussing any plant proteins, that was somewhat a very low blow that you made. Pretty much, not saying that it isn't deserved or anything, but that issue has already been addressed. And if you're referring to his wife as Isabel is concerned, she was a straight up bitch. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anytime I ran into her at the expo, first time I ran into her expo, I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she freaking barked at me and then walked off. And it's been that same way anytime I went to those expos or so forth. I even asked Layne about it. And I'm like, "Layne, why is your wife a bitch for?" She's like, "Well, she's got that Latino blood." I'm like, "No, she's got vampire blood. You need to get rid. You need to either put a steak in there, or tell her to eat some garlic or some shit." Literally, that's what I told Layne there. I'm like, but I did scold him on that when he did step out on her or anything. But I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Isabel isn't exactly Joan of Arc or Mother Teresa or anything like that. To me, she's a straight up bitch. I don't. If she's listening here, I mean, I'll say it to her in her face. She's very lucky I didn't put that Sean Connery on her. You know what I'm saying? But in any event, that was still a pretty low blow, and has nothing to do with the subject there. Now, what's the subject at hand as far as plant protein being superior? I mean, the doctor was definitely incorrect on it there, because here's the thing: plant protein, just as Layne has said, even because of the fibrous material in it there, your body is gonna be hard pressed to digest that there, unless you actually cook the food that may take care of that particular situation somewhat. But whenever you cook anything, any type of food's going to lose some of its bioavailability. So it's going to be pretty much even Stevens in that particular situation there, as opposed to an animal protein there, which is a complete protein. And plant-based proteins, Richard, I mean, you can say all the things you want, but it does lack essential amino acids such as leucine, for example. Leucine is very important in the body. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you can't. Now, the one thing that I have to point out as far as Layne being wrong is he said it was very difficult and very complex to get all your aminos straight in using plant foods here. I mean, it's actually pretty easy. You can take a cup of beans and you take a cup of rice there, and you got yourself pretty much a complete amino acid profile. It's not that hard whatsoever. What makes it complex is all the other things that go along with the vegan diet, and a lot of people that are vegan there, they are pretty much emaciated, because when you're on a vegan diet there, you're hard pressed to get a lot of calories in. And a lot of vegans, they're peanut sensitive, so they can't eat any peanuts, which peanuts are a high calorie food there. So when you eliminate that, you're hard pressed to get the sufficient amount of the sufficient caloric intake in order to maintain a proper weight there. You know what I mean? Unless you borrow some of my safety fat from me. Just keeping it real, telling it to you like it is here. But in all seriousness, folks, it's pretty easy to maintain things like that. But the problem with most vegans is they also eliminate other things as well. A lot of vegans eliminate honey. You know, they, I'm not sure if Richard, if you do that or not, or whether or not you have honey or so forth. Some vegans will protest. They'll put bees in the same situation as cows and pigs and chickens and stuff like that. No, that's perfectly fine. More power to them. But with that, you're eliminating essential items that can give you that high caloric intake there. As well as peanuts, because most of these vegans somehow develop peanut allergies. That doesn't leave you with much there, except for maybe coconuts there or so forth. But to analyze everything, Layne Norton was, 80% right. You were 100% wrong for the most part there, Richard. I'm sorry. You lose this round. But the biggest thing that both of you are definitely wrong about is, again, and I stress this on my live stream or so forth, getting 200 or 300 grams of protein is just ridiculous. You don't need that much protein, okay? You don't need that much protein, all right? Mike Metzer and most other bodybuilders never had 200 to 300 grams of protein a day. It's a marketing fad just to sell fart powder, okay? The amount of protein you need is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. I will, at the very most, take in no more than 100 grams of protein a day. Okay? Not only that, when it comes to high amounts of protein and very low carbohydrates there, your body has it takes a lot longer for your body to process protein as an energy source there. That puts a lot of stress on the body. Now, I used to do whenever I competed or so forth, that would be the only application that I would put that in place. If I was competing for a show, then yes, I would increase my intake of protein, lower my carbohydrates, and somewhat increase my fats and I use what was called the Beverly diet there. 50% protein, 30% fats, and 20% carbohydrates. But even with that, I kept my caloric intake very low in any event there. So it was a pretty strict diet. So I still, even with the amount of protein I was taking there, that was only for a sparse period of time there. Now, just like any other items that I did while I was bodybuilding, such as fat burners and Diuretics and stuff like that, you're only supposed to do that for a very limited time. It's not supposed to be a permanent thing, okay? It's not supposed to be permanent. No different than people that are taking steroids and then they just cycle off of them, the fitness community, they consume way too much protein, and it's just a marketing fad, basically. It's just marketing. You don't need that much protein, people. You only need 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram, not per pound, per kilogram. Okay, not this 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. There, that's just ridiculous, and it's just completely insane. But that's just my personal opinion, as well as Metzer's, Arnold, a number of other, legendary bodybuilders here. So, in terms of things, I'll take their advice over these protein pimps. All right. But good luck to both you, Layne, as well as you, Richard. Like I said, Layne, I've not spoken to you in about 5 years or so forth. I always respect that you're and everything, but get rid of that cowlick there. You look like Parker Lewis there. Parker Lewis can't lose. Guess what? He did lose. Okay. That's all I got to say today, people. Like and subscribe to the Vince Goodrum channel. Click the link below. Peace and soul.